Okay, my name is Abdulganiyu Abubakar, the National President of the Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, NACTAL in Nigeria, as well as the Regional Representative of the West African Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants. As you are aware, NACTAL is the civil society umbrella, the platform for civil society organizations working on human trafficking, abuse and exploitation in Nigeria. We have state chapters and membership across the 36 states and the federal capital, and then we also have borders partners across the West African sub-region. So we are in Keffi today on a 3-day training for our members from across the states of Nigeria on the need for proper monitoring, evaluation and reporting of cases of human trafficking using the nationally accepted reporting tools. So that is basically the reason why we are here in Keffi.
Okay. Well, trafficking has, despite what has been done, what you have done, there has been concerns that trafficking is increasing. So, and child abuse. Why is that?
Yeah, as you are aware, human trafficking is a form of transnational organized crime. It is one of the largest criminal industry, among the largest criminal industries in the world, just next to arms trafficking and drug trafficking. And then it's a form of transnational organized crime. It is not just a crime that takes place in one community or one locality. It's a cross-border crime. So you have traffickers and recruiters all over the world, and then these people are in a network, they are in a chain. So it is not a crime that is easy to detect and then dismantle. So irrespective of the efforts of indigenous civil society organizations, international development partners, and even the government, a lot of children are still exposed or vulnerable to trafficking, and they are being trafficked both internally, that is within states of Nigeria, within local government, within communities, and then across the border, externally. So trafficking is on the increase. Despite the improved level of awareness, a lot of local communities still require more awareness creation. We still need to do more of community engagement. We still need to engage traditional, religious, and community leaders to be able to understand the red flags, to be able to understand the tricks of traffickers, and then to also be able to provide adequate protection for our children, women, and young people. But honestly speaking, despite all the efforts, cases of human trafficking is still on the increase.
While speaking earlier, you mentioned that most of the work that you do goes unreported. So what's the implication of that? Does it have any implication?
Yeah, part of the implications of underreporting is that, first of all, when we say underreporting, it has to do with reporting of effort, reporting of cases, and all that. So if you underreport, you underestimate the problem. Nobody in Nigeria today can tell you this is the number of Nigerians that are trafficked within and out of the country in the last maybe 2-3 years. So if you don't have this kind of statistics, you are not able to give a realistic picture to the situation. Of course, we know it is increasing. We know it is on the increase because of the cases and the requests we receive, because of the complaints and the outcries and the cries from families who want their loved ones rescued, and so on and so forth. And then even the effort of the government and development partners is underreported. And then the contribution of even the communities. So everything about the whole, including awareness creation, is inadequate. So a part of the reason we're in Keffi is to also deliberate among our member organizations across the states to see how we can step up reporting across board. We should have prompt, quality and realistic report of cases. We should have quality reports of the interventions, as well as the efforts being put in by other government, development partners and other stakeholders. My network took the initiative to review the country TIP reports. There is a global trafficking in persons report that is developed and released by the U.S. Department of State every year. And then the last edition of the report underreported the interventions of the government of Nigeria, development partners, and even the civil society organizations. So when we read this report, we felt it is not too good for Nigeria. Yes, we are not where we want to be, we are not where we're supposed to be, but certainly we are not where we used to be. So it is important that we report the effort that are ongoing and then acknowledge where there are gaps and areas that needs to improve. So that is why we reviewed that report, and then we have published our recommendations, which we are going to be sharing and distributing to partners.
Thank you. So, in recent times, since school children were not being kidnapped, is NACTAL doing anything towards that, or?
Yeah, since the incidents of school abductions, right from the Chibok up till the latest cases in Oyo State, in Borno State, and even some other states, our members have been raising their voice. Some of these abductions, of course, affects enrollment, it affects retention, it affects completion of education by children and young people. And then the abductions also led to close down of schools. So when you close down schools and children are back home, they are vulnerable and they are prone to being trafficked by those who don't mean well for the society. And these traffickers are in our homes, they are in our communities, they are in our societies. So a lot of our members have held press conferences, press releases, engagement with community and traditional rulers, engagement with government at various states. In Sokoto State, my organization had a press conference where we brought together all the stakeholders to deliberate and make concrete calls to the government. In the FCT, we had a national press conference where we also called the attention of government. We have also sent position paper to governments and all that to ensure that we have government to pay attention to these abductions and make sure they do everything humanly possible to prevent. We shouldn't just be reacting and responding. We should put in preventive measures, enough preventive measures. There should be more security around our schools. So that is exactly what, because if we don't do that, if children remain at home, they will certainly be recruited and trafficked. People will come and give them false hopes, present juicy offers to them, and then of course they will fall for it. So we must do something to prevent that.
Okay, lastly, what should we be expecting? What's the siege that will come out of this gathering, this workshop?
Yeah, by the end of Friday, when this program will be over, it is expected that our members from across Nigeria will have improved understanding of all national reporting tools on human trafficking, exploitation, and abuse, and ensure that cases are well identified, documented, reported. And we also hope that the government of Nigeria, through the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, will pay more attention to the input of civil society organizations as they present their input into the global TIP reports.